Hello and welcome to today's video. Today we are here and we're going to take a look at the F1 2023 schedule, calendar, whatever we're calling it. Calendar. God. Switching between doing NASCAR videos to F1 videos. One calls it a schedule, one calls it a calendar. One has street courses, one has road course or street circuits, one's a street course. Like, God. Either way, we're here. We did this video going into this season, breaking down the whole schedule whole calendar of how many races? 23? Yeah, it was supposed to be 23. Obviously, the Russian Grand Prix got yeeted. So, obviously, it ended up being 22 this year. But, let's take a look at what we got. Now, granted, a lot of things on F1's calendar don't necessarily change year to year that are really notable to talk about in a video. But, once again, the season will begin in Bahrain, as it did in 2021 and 2022. After many years of starting in Australia, 2020 shook that up with starting in Austria, and then it's been Bahrain for the last few years. And I think it'll probably stay Bahrain. They got a lot of their oil money, so they're probably like, oh, we got the first race, we're going to keep that, thank you. I think they have a contract for Bahrain to host races until like 2035 or something ridiculous. Second on here is Saudi Arabia. So once again, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, back to back, like we saw this year. Then it's to Australia, which again, same as this year. Then though, it's China. So China's back on the calendar after not being on it since 2019, which was the 1000th Formula One race. China has not been raced since. Obviously, 2020, everything got shook up, and the last 2 years China's been off. But we'll see if we get to see a race in China next year. I think that's kind of cool, just to sort of see some of these tracks that I watched in 2019 when I was getting into watching F1. But, obviously the beginning of 2019, it was just like, well, we'll see it next year. We'll see it in 2020. And for me, especially early 2019, I was learning many things about F1, so a lot of it was so new that I don't necessarily remember a lot of those things because I was just learning so many things where now it's just like, yes, it's an F1 weekend. So it's a little different. So seeing some of these tracks like China, which, hasn't been on the calendar since the third or fourth F1 race I ever watched, it's cool to go back and see it. Sort of like Australia was. Cool to go back and see it. Or a lot of the tracks that you're, looking forward to seeing Singapore, seeing Japan. I think those are the only ones that are left that I didn't see more than once. But that's my thought on, seeing China back on here. Then it was followed up by Azerbaijan. And then Miami. I believe this year after Australia, it was Emilia-Romagna and then something else. Was it Spain or Monaco? One of those two. It wasn't Monaco. But I know Miami was still the sixth race, which it is here. But I think Azerbaijan was after Miami. I don't know. Either way, after Azerbaijan, it is Miami. Then it's Emilia-Romagna. I do remember that was before Miami this year. Then you go to Monaco, Spain, Canada. Oh, Canada was one of the ones that was earlier in the year that I was excited to see, because I didn't see it after, obviously, 2019. Then we got Austria, UK, Hungary, and then Belgium. Then you get the summer break. So Belgium is before the summer break instead of after, which is interesting because at least from what I've seen in 2019, 2021, 2022, Belgium is always the race after the summer break. Obviously, 2020, there was no summer break. It was kind of just... The summer break basically was the beginning of the season. The way that they forced the rules. But after the summer break, we start in the Netherlands. That's cool. We'll start with a Dutch race. We get to see all the Max fans hyped up right after the summer break, so we're all ready for it. Then we have Italy with Monza. Then Singapore, Japan, and then Qatar. So Qatar is back on the calendar. Qatar was a sort of fill-in race in 2021. It filled in. There was a few dates that were not set because of races canceling. Obviously, 2020 was the ultimate shuffled up calendar. 2021 was mostly stable, but there was a few things that are dropping off. Like you had Japan drop out, and I believe that's where Qatar filled in. But Qatar apparently is going to be the same track. I thought they were building a new one, but maybe they're going to not have it done yet. And honestly, I thought it was the same for Saudi Arabia. I thought that was going to be like a new track built. Maybe that's 2024 for those tracks. I don't know. But Qatar will be back on the calendar. That was off in 2022 because, well, the World Cup's in Qatar. So they're putting all their focus into that. So they will not be hosting an F1 race this year. But next year, I'll be back. I believe it's a 10-year deal. So we'll get more Middle Eastern races. After Qatar, it's a trip to here, to America. I was going to say that's the word I was looking for, the Americas, North and South America, making a trip. But the next race is the U.S. I just said here. So the U.S. Grand Prix in Texas, the Circuit of the Americas. Then it's Mexico and Brazil. And then it's back to America for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. That should be fun, racing on the Las Vegas Strip. I'm just excited to see 3 U.S. races. We're doing it. Maybe we don't have a winning team. We don't have a driver. But we do have 3 races. Let's go. Another American W. We're doing it. Oh, shit. Fuck. No, but I think Las Vegas will be cool on the Strip. I think they'll be awesome. It's going to be a night race. Apparently, it's going to be on a Saturday night. We're doing F1 on Saturday night, November 18th. So I know which day to take off from work. November 18th, request off. Apparently, it had been rumored it's going to be Saturday race the whole time. But honestly, in all seriousness, again, I think Las Vegas would be cool. I do wish, though, that of the races that we have in America, Miami Grand Prix, U.S. Grand Prix, Las Vegas Grand Prix, I wish that it was between Miami and Las Vegas. Like, U.S. Grand Prix, brilliant. Circuit of the Americas, obviously purpose-built Formula 1 track. Love it. Love the F1 race there. Love the NASCAR races there. Circuit of the Americas is absolutely brilliant track. But I think something like looking at the amount of awesome tracks that we have in America that are road courses. Do we really need to have Miami and Las Vegas? I get it comes down to money and promotion and all that. You know, you're going to have Miami. You're going to have Las Vegas. Both obviously really big cities to go visit. But we got some good tracks in America, and it's unfortunate those are the destinations that we have. But either way, I do think that Las Vegas will be a cool track visually to see. Racing wise, who knows? Visually, hopefully it's a little better than Miami looked. And lastly, no surprise, Abu Dhabi. Yep, Abu Dhabi finishes it off. So that's that. Overall, I think it's cool. I guess the biggest surprise is I was surprised China was back. I knew it was coming back, but I was surprised when I looked at it. Basically, I wasn't surprised by new tracks. I just kind of forgot about them. I forgot China was coming back. I forgot about Qatar, and I'm like, oh yeah, we got these tracks. I think it's cool to see it up to 24 races. I think 24 will be a solid spot. I don't think that I'd like to see it go much higher. I think $25 is the max that I would say for F1 races in a season. I do think that the 22 to 24 range is probably the best for tracks. I think that I know a few years ago, before I started watching, it was like 18 or 19 in like the early 2010s. I started watching, it was 21 in 2019. And then obviously there was, 17 in 2020, and then we had 21 and then 22. So it's been going up. I think 24. I also think if this year was the way it was, 24 wouldn't seem like as much of a jump. If things kind of stayed in the line of the progression that it was going to have in 2020, was going to have 22. 2021 was also going to have 22. And then this year's going to have 23. So, you'd have that 22, 23, 24. It wouldn't seem like as much more. But when you go from 2020 having 17 to 2023 having 24, it makes the gap seem maybe bigger than it really was by the way that it's progressing. So I think you have that element to why people say, oh, we don't want that. I do get it for traveling as, especially people working on the cars, that in the end of the day, that is their job compared to, obviously the drivers and obviously the team principals and all those people. It is their job as well. But they can just hop on a private jet and fly home. The team, the mechanics working the cars, all those people, they have a lot of you're doing your job of building the car, working on it. You're going to be away from your family even more than the drivers and team leaders are, who will still obviously be away from their families a lot, but they can also use easier for them to bring their family along with them than the people that are on a level being more regular job. So I can see people saying that. I definitely get it. So there's a balance that Formula One I think needs to achieve with that, especially thinking of something like, for me, always watching NASCAR and Formula One, I know a lot of people say don't make comparisons between the two, but I think the travel that you have to make, I know in NASCAR this is a lot of travel, and that is 38 races pretty much throughout the season, almost no break. But for those people, a lot of the races are relatively close to home. You're going to have a lot of races in a very close area in one country, where F1, besides the European races, which will all be kind of close because Europe is kind of close together in a country sense, similar to America, that you can easily get home for the European parts quicker. But I mean, you're traveling to, looking at this, you go from Brazil to Las Vegas to Abu Dhabi to finish off. Like, a lot of these races are 3 times in a month you're somewhere. July, every weekend basically has one. July 2nd, July 9th, 23rd, 30th. Like, that's a lot. So I can definitely see how people are saying that with the calendar. Also, looks like it's ending in November, not December. So, damn. It's going to be a lot more compact then. Because last year was 22, 21, whatever it was. From, was it March? March to December. This goes from March to November for more races. Yeah. So I get the balance. But I am excited just from the fan standpoint. 24 races. Let's go.